Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Nightshade here. Of course, joining me is Master Dog with the Skyzo Cup number 9. We're coming right at you. We are going into the finals. Master Dog, are you excited? Because I know I am.
Dude, this is going to be a 6 series.
It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, they've played just so many times, and if Jig wins, that's actually going to be probably more hype than desRow winning, only because Jig hasn't really won a series against desRow in such a long time.
Yeah, that's true. But this is one of those things where it's like, is he playing this for? Is he playing it for money, or is he playing it for pride?
I think it's a bit of both, sir.
Yeah, indeed. All right, so down in the bottom right-hand side of the map, representing his sponsor, Asus, ladies and gentlemen, it is desRow.
All right, and over on the top left, we have our Red Zerg representing Team Killing Spree. He is Jig.
So, like we were saying, we got actually a lot of statistics to throw at you guys really quickly. Jig and desRow are very familiar with each other, aside from the fact that they carpooled from Montreal to Quebec City to play in this event. But more importantly is that desRow and Jig have played against each other a lot of times. They played against each other in the semifinals of the WCG Canada offline finals in Montreal back last year, prior to desRow actually going to the WCG Canada World Finals, or rather the WCG World Finals. So Jig wanted a lot of opportunities there, and he was unable to seal the deal. desRow has been a thorn in Jig's side, and on virtually almost every matchup, desRow is able to best Jig in some manner or another. Now, not to say, though, that Jig hasn't taken a game or two. He has. But when it comes to a betting man, and I'm not, but if I was, I'd be betting with desRow right now. But that being said, Jig has been playing really, really well today. A lot differently than he has before. So, how do you think he's going to pan out? Too tough to say, isn't it?
Yeah, I still think, though, that desRow just might make it out going 2-1 in the series, because like even at Skyzo Cup number 8, desRow won, coming up from the losers bracket that time, 2-1, 2-1 for both series. So now desRow already beat Jig in the winners finals, so I feel like he should be able to pull it out again over here in the grand finals.
Yeah, we'll see where this is going to go. Is this grand finals? This is double elimination, is it not? Today, right now. So if desRow loses right now, he gets the opportunity to play it again. So desRow's got a lot of chances here to pull a victory. Jig, on the other hand, not so much. But what we do see, of course, is Nexus going to go down. Double gases out of desRow. Hatch as well as gases are going to go down here for Jig. So it looks like Jig is going to be opening fairly standard here. You know, it wants to be greedy, but not too greedy. Of course, he can be punished by desRow. But desRow also playing fairly standard as well. And double gases, 2 workers on one, 3 on the other. So what do you think he's going to go with this particular build?
I feel like Stargate play maybe, and
well, we saw previously he likes to go. We saw previously he went with Stargate play that worked reasonably well against Jig, and then we saw him transition into Blink Stalker to support Immortals, and that also worked really, really well. So maybe and he did that thing. Well, he played it one game, and then the other game he didn't. But I wouldn't be surprised if he goes with this again. Now he does have the pylon behind his mineral lines, so you can keep on top of that. But he does have to deal with the fact that this is Daedalus Point. He's got a very large wall to deal with right now. So he's going to start pulling that up right now, and he's going to throw down gate number 1 up front.
Oh, 2 Zerglings already going to be showing up at the natural expansion. And there is a sentry here to combat these with its tickle beam. But, yeah, so the sentry, and now a Mothership Core are going to be joining it to actually deal no damage, because, you know, these units, they take a while to kill.
Indeed. It's like the light unit and the lighter unit versus the lightest unit. It's good fun. I like this wall-off choice here by desRow a great deal. rather than try to facilitate a wall off across the very large, wide ramp at the front of Daedalus Points' base, he's actually opting to go for a half wall around his Nexus here. And he's going to utilize that Photon Overcharge to basically finish off the wall, so to speak. Now, of course, Overlord is going to scout it, see what he's up to deal with. And while Jig is going to lose it, he was a sacrificial Overlord. It is going to temporarily supply block him, unfortunately. And at least for the next couple of minutes, because he is yet to start a replacement Overlord for that. But he has a couple structures going down as well. He's got Evo Chambers going down. Roachworn, like to see that as well. Nice and aggressive. I almost would like to see him do a 2-base play, but he's actually opting to take his third instead. And again, good choice by him. Pretty much right exactly where you want to be. And he's got a good number of Lings out on the map here to try and apply some pressure.
Yep, Photon Overcharge is available, however. There are no cannons, and we're going to have to see what will desRow do to deal with this. Right now, Photon Overcharge will go down. There are 4 sentries here. Try and aid it. Force Field needs to go down on the ramp. Will go down, but it looks like the Zergling's actually just going to be targeting these sentries. And nice Force Fields again, going to be keeping it out, and Photon Overcharge just cleaning up the Zerglings.
This is good and bad for Jig, I think. First and foremost, he used a lot of energy off of those sentries. 4 force fields going down means that, really, for the most part, desRow has no force fields right now. So that's going to be good later on when they get into that kind of mid-game push if desRow does leave his base. Jig was able to apply a little bit of pressure, letting desRow know it's like, okay, I know what you're up to. I know you're on 2 bases. I'm on 3. He's not saying this as much, but I'm on 3. But I'm going to hold the map on this particular game, and I know I can do whatever I want as far as run bys. Now, with that, what does desRow do? He's going to move on out with 5 sentries in the Mothership Core. I don't agree with this. I don't know if I don't know if this is a very safe attack that he's doing. He's following it up with a couple of units here. I think one is a probe, so you can throw down a pylon, but this is going to be really tricky. He's got additional gates on the way. This is going to be very early pressure.
Yeah. Right now, 6 sentries on the ship core in a single zone. There are Hydralisks already out for Jig, but there's not that many Hydralisks, so he just doesn't have a lot of gas available. The sentry's going to be taking down that queen extremely swiftly. Right now, these 4 Hydralisks already have caused 3 force fields to get burned. 4 now.
And these sentries are almost completely exhausted out of energy. That is going to force a recall all the way back to the natural of desRow. So desRow is going to play that about as wise as he can, but that being said, he is going to lose an Immortal to these Lings. That is not something he wanted to incur, and realistically, that Immortal is not going to get any kind of bonus against either of these Lings or these Hydralisks. desRow is going to try to take his third, but I think that's a little bit presumptuous because Lings are going to try to engage that as well. And these sentries and stalkers, they're pretty omnipotent, but again, force fields are going to get drawn out here, and on this kind of ramp, you just walk all the way around them.
Yeah, and the Hydralisks already getting above the ramp there. Stalkers are going to try getting warped in. This Mothership Core does not have much energy available. Can't really cast anything, but it will go down. The Stalkers now just going to be 1v1ing these Hydralisks. Right now, the Hydralisks are looking to be losing, as they're going to have to pull back, get a couple reinforcements, but desRow, he's kind of in a bad situation. He's already 40 supply down. He's also a base down. He will be getting +2 weapons finished up now, but oh no, Muscular Augments is almost done.
Yeah, I really like this play by Jig. He's trying to get force an engagement here by desRow. desRow is going to work his way down the ramp with a bunch of Stalkers. Lings are going to engage them directly and very, very quickly indeed. Hydralisks are going to support them as well, as desRow is going to kite them all the way back. But Jig is like, no, your third is going to be mine, hell or high water. And they are going to surround it. Once that drops, that's going to be huge victory here. And boom, it does go down. But these Zealots and Stalkers are going to repel the forces of Jig, and Jig is going to head on back on out. But like we've seen in previous game, he is patient. And with taking that, he's going to retreat all the way back to his base. He's going to gear back on up. He's got a Spire on the way, as we just saw. But there's going to be a small skirmish here in the center of the map as these reinforcements are trying to flee. And unfortunately, some Hydras are going to fall to these Blink Stalkers of desRow.
Yep, oh, the Zergling's trying to get us around on the Stalkers. It looks like they will get that as... oh, yep, will get a little bit of surround, but going to be blinking out of that. Not very good to attack right next to those little holes in the ground there. But it looks like desRow, he's trying to get up his third base there. And Jig already has that third base up for quite a while and going to be getting up his fourth base on Daedalus Point here. And so many Zerglings are heading across the map right now.
Yeah, Zerglings are quite good against Blink Stalkers, and there's one thing they've proven that they've done a bit of a job earlier on, but it doesn't seem that he's got enough numbers to really be able to engage this. He's going to take that Watchtower position by killing off that Zealot. But Blink is going to get on top of those Lings, just not enough numbers, and unfortunately the Stalkers are going to clean him up. And this is not the engagement Jig was looking for.
Yeah, right now, Mutalisks even going to be flying right over the Stalkers, going to be using 2 Mutalisks for free. Looks like he's going to be regrouping the other ones now, but desRow, he's just going to be going all in. He knows that the Mutalisks exist, so he's kind of in a bit of trouble as he just got up his third base, and he doesn't really have a defense at home for those Mutalisks.
Yeah, this is, I think, honestly, Jig losing those Lings is just not what he needed. Those would have been so beneficial right now. Roaches have arrived as well. Zealots are going to work away on those. Reinforcements are also arriving here. Meanwhile, desRow looking very much in control in front of that third base of Jig. And the Stalkers are just doing so much damage. Jig trying to hold it together, but he's not only going to lose his third, but he's losing drones in the process of it. He's going to pull them off the lines to try to keep them alive, but there's just not enough reinforcements here for Jig as the Stalkers blink forward and up and in the natural of Jig.
Yep, and these Stalkers, they're dealing a lot of damage. So far, 16 workers killed, 17 and counting it, but it looks like desRow just going to be calming down just a little bit, but there is a forward pylon going to be warping in some more Zealots, and then, even some High Templars now. Looks like he's going to be getting some Archons in, going to be getting that area of effect damage, and that's going to be so helpful. And desRow just going to be walking over towards the third and finishing it up.
Yep, desRow doing a great job prioritizing his targets, realizing that there is a military that needs to be defensive of. So he actually took his time before killing off that third. There is a good number of units here streaming down, and the Lings are going to try to get us around here, but good Blink Micro here. It's going to pull back the Stalkers behind the Zealots, so the Zealots can get up front, and well played by Jig, and desRow is going to take game number 1.
GG. Well played there. And
indeed.
That was a very, very good game, back and forth, and desRow, he looked like he almost lost that game, but he made the right decision and went up for that finishing blow to try and get in some damage before the Mutalisks can hit him. And it also, that one Archon too, got about like 10 kills.
Oh yeah.
Which was pretty good.
I think there was a point in that game where Jig just had enough that he would have been able to at least hold a little bit of pressure with those Lings and also those misrallied Mutalisks. If those forces were together, I think Jig would have been able to hold a little bit longer until his Roaches got out. Unfortunately, those got caught out, and desRow with a really good play blinking forward and catching the smaller forces while they were in good manageable numbers, at least for him. That's what really caused it for Jig. Another one also really quickly, upgrades. desRow left that game with +3 upgrades, whereas Jig only had +2, so very unfortunate for him as well. So, really, really well played by desRow, as well as Jig, though, but desRow is going to take a victory, and justly deserved, of course. We are loading into game number 2 here, of course. Best 2 out of 3 going into these finals, and more importantly, if Jig is able to secure 2 victories in the next 2 games, he will force actually a double elimination card here out of desRow. So desRow actually has a chance not only to lose this once, but he can actually play it a second time through as well. So.